Hello, hi everyone. This is Mokanini, and I'm coming back at you with another video. I hope that you are enjoying your New Year's weekend. I hope that you are taking it easy. You're not stressing out. You are just trying to bring the new year in with a good vibe and just leave everything in 2022 and in with 2023 with positive thoughts, and the things that you didn't get to accomplish in 2022, you will make it one of your goals to accomplish in 2023, and that's what I'm doing. So if you like the content that I'm showing you, then please, you know what you have to do. You have to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you won't miss any of my content that I'm going to be showing you. And today I'm going to be doing my top 5 favorite childhood TV shows. And coming in at number 5 is going to be The All That. The All That It is a comedy teen series, and I compared it to, well, not the adult version, but it was like a children's young adult version of In Living Color to me. You know, they had Jim Carrey, Rosie Perez, Jennifer Lopez, all of them on there, Tommy Davidson, and then with all that we have Keenan, Kel, Angelique Bates, Amanda Bynes, and I believe Nick Cannon also played on this. But let me just jump back into it. This show, it aired on the Nickelodeon network. It came out in the early 90s, 1994 to be exact. And I had so much fun watching this TV show coming up. It was so much fun to watch. I got a lot of laughs watching them doing all kind of silly stuff. And this was the original series, and the series that I enjoyed was the original series. I think in they continued doing the show in all the way up to 2019. Okay, and this show was produced by Michael Tollins and Brian Robbins, and the writer of the show is Dan Skinder. And of course, you know, Keenan and Kel, they went on to have their own show, which was also a pretty good show as well. My son, he enjoyed watching it coming up as a child. And coming in at number 4 is going to be Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell is a fun teenage series that I also loved to watch growing up. I couldn't wait for Saturday mornings to get to the front of the TV to sit down and see what Zach, Slater, Lisa, Kelly, and all of them were going to be up to. And can't forget Screech too. But the show, it was based on 6 friends who went to Bayside High School in California. And this TV series came out in 1989, and it was 30 minutes. That's how long each episode was. The actors and actresses that were in Saved by the Bell was, of course, Mark Paul Gosselaar, Lark Voorhees as Lisa Turtle, who was one of my favorites because I love her fashion. I love to see what she was wearing. I love her quick, witty comments. She was just a lot of fun. Her and Kelly Pulaski, who is played by Tiffany Amber Thiessen, was one of my favorites. And Tiffany, she was laid back and cool, but still girly. And as you know, she was Zach's crush. Mario Lopez as AC Slater, and Elizabeth Berkley as Jessie Spano, and Dustin Diamond as none other than the nerdy Screech, who is played by Samuel Powers, who is deceased. Mr. Richard Belding was played by Dennis Haskins, and he did a great job as the principal of Bayside High. He was always laying it to Zach because Zach was always trying to get his way out of things. Enjoyed watching that show. In this show, it ran for 4 seasons. It ran from 1989 to 1992. From what I researched, the show was going to be centered around Zach Morris. It was going to be based on him, but instead the show focused on all 6 friends. The show, of course, I told you it was aired on Saturdays. And the former show, it was called Good Morning Mrs. Bliss. That came out before that. So Good Morning Mrs. Bliss was a show that was kind of like, I guess, the pre-show before Saved by the Bell came out, and I never did watch that. This show was produced by Bobrick, and it was established by Peter Engel, and of course it aired on the NBC channel. It was filmed in California, and the show later it ended. I was so sad when it ended. I did go on to watch another show that it didn't have all of the six friends on there, but it was a show when they went to college, and I did enjoy watching that one as well. Coming in at number 3 is going to be My Brother and Me. My Brother and Me was also a teen sitcom that was aired on the Nickelodeon channel. It came out in the 90s, and it was centered around a Black American family that was living in Charlotte, North Carolina. There were the Parkers. The Parkers had 3 children, brothers Dee Dee, Alfie, and one sister Melanie. Alfie, Dee Dee, and Melanie experienced a lot of different things such as hardships, and I wouldn't say I wouldn't say they had too much hardships, but I know they did go through little sibling rivalry, but that's not too much of hardships. Most people go through that. Have siblings, you're going to go through a little bit of that. But the show, it did not air that long enough for me, but I just enjoyed watching it. And, through friendships being tested, bullying, things that preteens go through in school. We all have probably been bullied. We all have been through having a crush on someone and the person didn't feel the same way about you, but we were kids. You're going to go through stuff like that. Like I said, the show was very short, and I wish they would have had a couple more seasons more than that, because I think it only aired for just one season, which was very disappointing because I really enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed laughing at Goo, who was Alfie's friend. He had a big crush on Alfie's sister Melanie, and he was also a clown. He was always getting himself into stuff. He was a trip. Okay, this show had also reminded me of Parenthood, which was with Regan Gomez Preston, and she was a really good actress. I also enjoyed watching that as well. And Robert Townsend, I believe that's his name, Robert Townsend was in it. Alfie is played by Arthur Reggie III. Dee Dee is played by Ralph Woolfolk. Melanie is played by the actress Aisling Sistrunk, or Sistrunk. The airtime was, of course, 30 minutes. The location was taking place in Orlando, Florida. Amanda Seales, I did not know was in this, and she played Dion Wilburn. Yeah, I had no idea that was Amanda Seales, because I remember watching her on the show, and I saw she's real pretty. I just didn't see her in anything after that. But then later I start hearing about Amanda Seales, that she played Dion. But anyway, Dion was Melanie's best friend, and Karen E. Fratchen is played by Jennifer Parker, the mother, and Jim R. Coleman as the father. The father was Drew Parker, and this show was produced and written by Lunga Adele and Calvin Brown Jr. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Family Matters. Family Matters is a funny, down to earth show. Oh my goodness, I just love Family Matters. I couldn't get enough of Steve Urkel and his shenanigans, and then Laura, she was a good actress. And all of the characters on the show, it's just, you could relate to them. They were just your normal everyday family. Okay, it is a series about a family, the Winslows, who have 3 children. Laura, played by Kelly Williams, and Eddie Winslow, who is played by Darius McCrary, and the baby girl Judy Winslow, as you know, is Jamie Foxworth. Carl Winslow, their father, he's played by Reginald VelJohnson. He plays a cop who who Steve loves to nag and get on his nerves, and he's like, oh, just shaking his head because here comes Steve again, coming to be pesky as always. But even though Steve is very pesky, he's still a lovable, sweet guy. And the mother, she is Harriet Winslow. She is played by Jo Marie Payton. The Winslows is a close, like I said, they're a close-knit family who have their ups and downs like any other family. And they have a busybody neighbor, Steve. Oh my goodness. Steve Urkel, who is played by Jaleel White. And Steve, he's a really quirky type of guy. He's different. He's smart. He has all kinds of different little gadgets and stuff that he's making, little science projects. He is a smart guy, but he just doesn't know when to stop nag. And he has a huge crush on the Winslow's daughter, Laura. Of course, Laura doesn't feel the same way about Steve as he feels about her. He can't seem to get it in his head that Laura isn't interested in him. But I know on one episode, Laura, she did give him some attention and she gave him a kiss, and Steve looked like he was going to lose his mind. That was his dream that definitely came true. But I was entertained all throughout the show. And like I said, Steve, he did a really great job playing Steve Urkel. Well, Jaleel White did an awesome job playing Steve Urkel. I was laughing out loud throughout the entire show, the episodes that would come on. I was thoroughly entertained, and of course, I was sad when the show stopped airing. And the show, it came out in 1989 and it ends, I believe, in 1997. I apologize because sometimes what I do, I can't remember everything, so I have to write some of this stuff down because I don't want to get people names wrong, saying this actress played that person when it was someone else. So I have to look at my notes to make sure. But the show, it was produced by William Bickley, and it was also produced by Michael Warren, I believe, and developed by Thomas L. Miller and Robert L. Boyett. The show was filmed in various locations of California, and of course, each episode was 30 minutes, and the show was aired on ABC, and CBS later picked up the show. Coming in at number one is my all-time favorite show. It's The Secret World of Alex Mack. Oh, how I love that show. Whenever the show would come on, because I love science and I love that it was a teenage show for teenagers where it was different. What else was on back then? So the Secret World of Alex Mack is a family comedy drama. It's a TV series, like I said, that I grew up watching as a teenager. It was a sci-fi fantasy show. And it aired on the Nickelodeon channel. Alexandra Mack, also known as Alex, she's a normal teenager. She has a normal life until one day she's walking home from school, the first day of school. She had a bad first day of school. She was bullied, and she was bullied for having a little troll lunchbox and for having a little episode with a guy, and she was shamed by that. So she was walking home from school and she didn't see the Paradise Valley chemical truck that was coming, and that startled her, and the chemical splashed on her. And when the chemical splashed on Alex, she later discovered that she had special powers. She could turn herself into liquid. She had electricity that would come from her hands. She could just make herself appear in places that a person couldn't appear. She could travel. And the chemical that was spilled on her was the GC-161. It was created by the company. And Alex is played by Larissa Oleynik, and Raymond, Ray, he was played by his name was Raymond Ray Alvondo. It was played by Darius Love, and her sister Annie Mack was played by Meredith Bishop. And As you know, Alexis Fields was on there as Nicole Wilson, and Alexis Fields is Kim Fields' sister. Kim Fields from Living Single and The Facts of Life. And her parents, George and Barbara Mack, are Michael Blakely and Dorian Lapinto. The producers of the show are Ken Lipman and Tommy Lynch, and the show lasts for 4 seasons. It was filmed in various locations in California. And I thank you so much for bearing with me. Like I said, I had to do a couple pause, and I had to do a couple things, plug up my charger, and then I got a couple calls. But I'm glad you stayed to watch the video, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it. And please don't be a stranger. You take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend. God bless you.